is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. This is a show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you so much for being with us. This is our 25th show. Who can believe it? So amazing. I feel like I need a cake to celebrate or something. But we do have scones from Blue Hat Coffee Gallery, and that's even better. Of course, we are broadcasting live from the My Michigan TV studios in Troy, Michigan. It is so hard to believe that April is coming to an end. It's been an incredible month with, of course, the Eclipse show. We flew to Ohio for that, and then the Governor's Tourism Conference in Kalamazoo, and of course, the NFL draft. What an amazing time that was, and of course, the fun continues. Especially in our first segment, are you finding love in all the wrong places, or maybe not at all? Well, the Love Doctor, aka, or the Doctor of Love, Terri Orbuch is here to help those of us that may need some help. We'll talk to her. Also, our community partner, Shades of Pink Foundation, well, they held their amazing walk at the Detroit Zoo. It was an incredible turnout, an incredible cause. Of course, a lot of rain, but we made it through. We will get the wrap up, and we'll also tell you about an Oakland County cleaning company, cleaning for a reason. It is known as the silent killer, and today we are talking about ovarian cancer, a subject that has impacted my own family, and we'll not only talk about the symptoms, but also about all of the available resources. And it is our Curtains Up segment. It is something rotten that is happening in Farmington, and of course, our coffee of the day. It is time for our giveaway, and of course, it is a pair of Friday night tickets and some other goodies to see When an Inspector Calls. That is at Rosedale Community Players in Southfield. So here's the deal. You need to follow, like, heck, even share, and comment with the number 25 for a chance to win, and who knows, maybe after our first segment, you'll actually get a date for the show. We'll see how that goes. Well, our first guest is Dr. Love, or rather the Love Doctor, Terri Orbuch. And Terri, we have talked many times over the years. Our first time meeting in person. Right. We're both wearing red. We're rocking the red,
I love
right?
that.
I was thinking love, you know. We'll wear red. See how that works out for us.
That was good. I love it.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, I need to clarify.
Yes.
You are referred to as
the Love Doctor.
The Love Doctor, because people have a perception when you say Dr. Love.
Right,
so tell
about
me what
sex, right?
Crazy, right?
Dr. Love equals sex, but the Love Doctor is all about relationships, happy, healthy relationships.
Right. And those are hard to come by.
They're hard to come by, but possible.
Are they?
They are possible, yes.
Okay, so first of all, I'm out talking to people all the time, and let's talk about dating apps real quick, okay? Yes. Because, you can swipe, you can delete, I don't even know what's happening anymore. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
And it's like a full-time job.
It is a full-time job. And people are frustrated, Brooke. People are disappointed. It's almost like FOMO. Right. Because even when you find somebody that's good and you like, you think, who else is out there?
Yeah, so, it's like everyone's always looking over their shoulder.
Exactly.
Right? Like, oh, he's kind of cute or whatever.
And I mean, it does open up the pool of eligibles, so you have many more people to talk to. It's almost like speed dating, because you can sit home in your pajamas and look through people and talk to them.
I'm a beauty queen. Yes, that's what I'm doing right this minute, right? Okay, so dating apps, are you hearing that they are working for people, or is it a mixed bag?
I think it's a mixed bag. Okay. I mean, it's working for some people, but I think so many people are lonely, they're frustrated, they're disappointed, that they really want to meet naturally. Or, Brooke, as we talked about before, I'm a huge advocate of matchmakers, professional, certified matchmakers who can vet people for you and can show you or help you with people who are right for you.
See, and when I hear the word matchmaker, I just start laughing, really.
Right.
Because
because you're thinking of that old person, right?
I'm like, really? Do I want to do that? But, Okay, so let's talk about, you mentioned healthy relationships.
Yes.
And those are also hard to come by because everybody brings something to the table that they're carrying in the way of baggage, right? So how do you know when you're ready for a healthy relationship?
And that's such a good question. The first thing is that if you have heavy emotional baggage, we all have emotional baggage, which is a strong emotion connected to the past. Positive, like you really want somebody again, or negative, you're pissed, you're angry, right?
Right.
And you need to let go of that heavy emotional baggage. When you're really ready, you feel neutral toward the past. I have this huge study funded by the National Institutes of Health where we've been following people for over 34 years, and what we found is that if you can feel neutral toward the past, you're really ready. So how do you know? Right?
How do you know you're neutral?
Right. Well, you're not thinking about that person.
Like
you're not consumed,
Okay.
but also you're not comparing people that you date currently or you will in the future to somebody in the past. And again, you're not blaming that person for
Really
why the
constantly talking
relationship
about them?
constantly talking, looking at their Facebook or
Right.
Instagram, right? But also, if I asked you a question, Brooke, like why did you break up, and you blame that other person, he, she, they did something, or I did something, that means you're still strongly connected to the past. But if you can say, we weren't right for each other, we weren't compatible, we got married too young, that's when you're really ready. That's step one.
Okay.
Step two is...
How many steps are there?
There are two. There are two. Step two is that you have to be ready to trust again. And that's really hard for a lot of people.
Right, for sure.
When you trust, you can tell your secrets. You can share your past with
vulnerable,
someone.
right?
Be vulnerable. Exactly, Brooke. And many of us hold back. We're guarded. We don't want to share too fast or too much.
Okay, what about the overshares? Is that a red flag?
Oh, absolutely.
It is.
Overshares
Okay.
too quick.
Okay.
Anything too fast, too quick is a
too
red
much.
flag, right? If somebody professes love to you
Right.
too quickly, too fast, after the first date, like I want you to move in, I want to get married, that's a huge red flag. It's nice,
Right,
right?
right.
We might like that,
Right, for
but
sure.
huge red flag.
Okay. So did I interrupt you with your second
No,
step?
I
did.
think
Okay,
that's
so we
it.
made
So
okay,
if
so
you
I
can
have my
trust.
notes because there was so much to talk to you about this.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about love bombing real quick.
Yes.
Because I have heard more than one person mention this, and it's kind of what you just mentioned. The first date, I want to marry you, I love you, let's go. What is that all about?
I think that's all about self-interest, that other person's self-interest. There's a difference between someone who's caring about you, giving you compliments, wanting to see you again. They're interested in you. But love bombing is all about that other person, right?
Okay.
He, she, they are, as I said, professing love quickly, giving you gifts, wanting to see you too much, texting you too much, professing love compliments too much. That's narcissism. That's self-interest. That's a huge...
But will you tomorrow? Probably not, right?
Probably not. And that's what happens, Brooke. It's all at the beginning, but that once you're interested, once you want to see them,
It
they
stops.
run. It stops,
Okay.
right? And they're not nice to you either. Love bombing is nice to you at the beginning, but then not nice.
Right. They turn mean almost,
They
right?
turn mean.
Okay, and-
Absolutely. And they shelter you from all the other people in your life. So at that point, you can't get that affirmation and validation from other people because they've prevented you from seeing friends, family members. So really look for those red flags quickly.
Okay, so what's another major red flag that you see?
Well, there's a lot of them.
She pulls out a
I think-
scroll.
right, exactly. I think another red flag is talking about an ex. And because if you are ready for a relationship, you've let go of the past. So you don't want to talk about an ex, you don't want to talk about your divorce, you don't want to talk about an ex or former spouse on the first date or even the first few dates. And if you do that voluntarily, that's a red flag. That means that person is still too connected. Now we should remember, Brooke, that it doesn't matter how long ago somebody got divorced or broke up with a romantic partner, because it's all about whether or not that person is ready for a relationship, because people separate when they're still in a relationship as well, and women are more likely to do that than men.
Okay, so explain that?
So
Emotionally
for women,
separating?
emotionally,
Okay.
they separate. They try to work on the relationship. They want to ask questions to the partner. They want to go for self-help or
let's
therapy.
talk about this.
Let's talk about this. Right. That is a key thing
key.
that puts people off. Now, if you are in a relationship, you're a woman and you're in a relationship with a man, I recommend that you first give a positive comment or compliment. Like, thank you so much for emptying the dishwasher, or I really liked how you talked to my mom over Thanksgiving or over the holidays. Give a compliment. And then talk about what's irritating or annoying you.
Okay.
For men, what we know, science shows us, that when you first talk about the relationship or what annoys you, they blame themselves, and it could be their fault, but they blame themselves, they get defensive, and they're not as likely to talk to you about an issue.
So they just kind of shut down.
Shut down. Women, we love to talk.
Right.
We'll talk about
Talk all day
negatives,
long.
positives, all the
What
time.
did you do yesterday? What are you doing tomorrow?
Exactly. And we're okay about talking about problems. We have learned, many of us, that talking about problems are good. So we're okay about that. Men, on the other hand, shut down, as I said. So,
Okay, so for the
give a
men,
compliment.
right, how do they, if something's annoying them with their woman or whatever, going back to caveman
I think
days.
it's good to always give a positive compliment first. Say something that you like about her. Say something, you know, I love your hair, you know, your new glasses. When you met my mom yesterday, I really appreciated that you talked to her. Say something positive, because when we can give a positive first, then what annoys us or a negative is always easier to unpack and understand.
Okay.
And hear.
Yeah, and really hear, right? Because there's the hearing and then there's the not hearing or not listening, I guess.
And you know, we all have our triggers.
What'd you say? No, I'm just kidding.
Good one, I like that.
Okay,
That's good.
so question. So I've heard this several times too, that there is a stigma. There's two. There's a stigma if you've never been married, and there's also a stigma if you've been married too many times. So how do you combat that?
Well, that's a good question. I think that we have these ideas, these shoulds, these expectations in our mind that people should have certain relationships and kinds of relationships by a certain age. And as you said, if they've had too many relationships or too many marriages, that there are expectations or should statements along with that. Personally, science-wise as well, I recommend that you take each person for who they are at the moment. And when you're on a first date or a second date, ask questions. And instead of worrying about whether or not this person's gonna like you or be interested in you, switch the approach and ask yourself, is this person the right person for me? And how do you know that, Brooke? It's all about similarity in underlying key values and goals. You want somebody who's similar to you, not opposite.
Okay.
And I know we're attracted to our opposite.
Right?
It's
It's like
exciting.
that bad boy thing, right?
Oh, totally. But what you want is somebody who's similar to you, and especially in those underlying key life values and goals for the future.
But can you be too similar to where it's like
No,
this?
I do not think you can be too similar at all. And we're not talking about personality. We're not talking about interests. We're talking about these key life values, what's important to you and how you live
It's like your personal mission statement, right?
Exactly. Oh, I love that.
Oh, see?
That's good. Love Dr. too. So that's what you want to look for. And so switch your approach and say, is this person the right person for me?
Okay. So for the people who are still out there looking for love, if you had one thing to say to them, what would it be?
It's first identify your key life values. Most of us don't know what's important to us. Is it faith, religion? Is it children, family? Is it money?
Right.
Is it job or career, fitness, health? So identify your top 2 key life values, and then when you're out on dates, when you're meeting people, look for somebody, ask questions to see if they have similarity in your top 2 key life values. That's what predicts happy, healthy relationships into the future.
It seems so simple.
It actually is. Well, I'd like to say it may not be simple, but it's small.
Okay.
It's a small thing. Simple, I don't know, because it's hard to figure out what's important to us, but it's small things that make a difference.
So are you seeing younger generation, older generation, you know, it's really interesting on Facebook, not that I scroll all the time, I might scroll a lot, but all the weddings I've seen for people my age, right? And it's really interesting because I'm thinking, wow, you know, good for you, by golly.
Absolutely.
on so many levels.
It is so possible to find love, I say, after 45. And I say that only because that's the age at which people are in a relationship or in a marriage and they get divorced. 45, 50, 55. And so what I like to say is that it is totally possible, no matter what your history is, no matter your age or your experience with relationships, to find love.
Okay. We heard it here. The challenge is on. I want everyone in the studio to go find love, unless you're involved with someone else. Never mind.
Right, exactly. Right. Good point. Good point.
Seriously, it has been a pleasure to finally meet you after all these years and all the phone interviews we've done in the past. And I just, you know, your insight is so valuable. You have a book, right?
Yes.
Okay. What is the book?
Books.
Okay, you have a few.
If you are in a long-term relationship, 5 simple steps to take your marriage from good to great. And if you're single or divorced or widowed, Finding Love Again, 6 simple steps to a new and happy relationship.
Okay, thank you. Website? Do you have a website?
Yes, Dr. Terri, thelovedoctor.com.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, that is The Love Doctor, of course. She's a therapist, author, speaker, and sociology professor at Oakland University. Terri Orbuch, thank you so much. Well, you are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. This is a show where we brew up topics every Monday morning from a woman's point of view. Thank you so much for being with us. We are broadcasting live from the My Michigan TV studios in Troy, Michigan. Coming up, you have been hearing about our community partnership with Shades of Pink Foundation for the past 12 weeks. Well, their walk at the zoo, it happened this Saturday. We'll tell you all about it, plus a company in Oakland County that is cleaning for a reason. That is coming up as well. And again, we are also out in the community, Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We love to be out in the community, and you can find us all over social media. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify. Again, this is our 25th show. So excited about that. Well, a fun fact, I am not a horse person. I've been bitten by a horse. Ask my kids about that story. They love it. And I've also been thrown off a horse. And actually, I have been on a horse that fell down with me on it. So yes, I am not a horse person. But if you are a horse person and a racing person, the Kentucky Derby is coming up. And if you happen to be throwing a Derby party and looking for unique decorations, look no further than the very cool Time Warp Vintage store in St. Clair Shores. Let's watch. Hey, Brooke Allen here. I am at Time Warp Vintage in St. Clair Shores with Jason. And Jason, it is Derby season, and we are all ready to go.
We are. Look at your hat.
I know. I love it. See, there's so many hats here. It's amazing.
And it's all about the hat with Derby season,
yes,
right?
Yes, for sure. All about the hat and the drinks, I think,
the drinks,
right?
absolutely.
So tell me about these.
Check it out. We've got all, well, not all, but we've got quite a few of the horses from the Derby, including here, you saw one you like, Seabiscuit. So these are actually, and as you can see, actually, I'll do this.
Oh, good idea.
As you can see, the horse, and right below it, it says Seabiscuits, and then the company who made it, the Lynn Bogue Hunt Club.
I don't know, but they're amazing, especially if you love horses. This is the place to go to get those glasses. And then also, of course, we know the drink of choice, I think, at the Derby.
Mint julep.
I've never been, but mint julep is it, right?
I've never been to the Derby either, but we get so many people. I know, right? Do a show from down there,
I know,
right?
right? That would be amazing.
We get so many people in here who just have at-home parties.
That's a big thing.
To watch the races, to get dressed up, to wear the hats, to drink the mint juleps, to have fun.
Exactly.
And they can pick them up here. This is Whirl Away, who won.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah, there's quite a bit, and you can have themed glasses to go with your mint julep or whatever drink you're going to have.
And here's the perfect picture for your mint julep.
Absolutely.
Always, right? Okay, so we know that the Derby is Saturday, May 4th.
It is.
So plenty of time, and you also, you have a sale going on, right?
We do. So if you came in and you needed some glasses, buying 2 of them, well, actually, these are $25 each, so they would be an automatic 20% off.
Oh, we love that.
Because once you hit $25, everything becomes 20% off. So you buy something, 2 $20 items, you get them for $16. So 20% off after 25.
All right, so you can look fashionable, get a good deal, and enjoy the Derby, and just come out here to Time Warp Vintage in St. Clair Shores and tell them Brooke sent you. And I always have so much fun hanging out with Jason and Steve at Time Warp Vintage. Be sure to check them out. They are on Harper and St. Clair Shores near 13 Mile. Well, the Shades of Pink Foundation has been our community partner since February, and what a pleasure it has been getting to know their team and learn about everything they do for patients battling breast cancer here in southeastern Michigan. And Catherine Toulouskas, I might have said that wrong, I apologize, is the co-chair for the Zoo Committee for the Shades of Pink Foundation. She joins us. And Catherine, your biggest fundraiser of the year was Saturday. It was an amazing event, a lot of rain, but we all made it through. How'd it go?
You know what, it went really well. The forecast was not great, but actually I think it was a win. The rain was there for maybe about 45 minutes, but the sun managed to come out. It dried out. We had great attendance. There was a lot of fun, a lot of wonderful stories that were shared from our walkers, from the 125 teams. We had 125 teams that took place in the walk.
That is awesome. Is that more than last year?
Yes, last year we had 98 teams.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
awesome.
So that was a definite win, and it's always a win when we can raise more funds to help more of those that apply for funds during their breast cancer diagnosis.
So what's interesting, Shades of Pink Foundation, they serve 9 counties, and what we heard, I've heard too, but what we heard Saturday, I think, was social workers play a really big part in this.
They do.
And I know Ruth, who we spoke to a few weeks ago, she said that I think it was her 3rd social worker that finally mentioned Shades of Pink Foundation. So a lot of people, even though you're a big foundation, a lot of people still don't know about you. So how do people, if they're struggling, if they just got diagnosed, how do they find you, and what do they need to do?
Well, hopefully their social worker will get them in touch with us. And I think, as we all know, we have to be our biggest advocate, and thanks to you letting us be part of your show, hopefully there's people that have been made aware of what we offer. We also have an online presence, shadesofpinkfoundation.org, where people can go there and get more information if they do need assistance. And the great thing about Shades of Pink is it's pretty immediate once you put that request in and you get approved.
And how many patients do you serve on a yearly basis?
So, for that I don't really have, because I do more of the volunteering for the Day of the Walk at the zoo, but we do help quite a few people. And in fact, Friday, day before the zoo, we're setting up, and I had to go pick up the food donation, and I was checking out, and the woman who was checking me out, she was like, "Oh, what group are you with?" And I'm like, "Shades of Pink Foundation." And she was like, "My daughter was a recipient of funds from your group, and you were just such a blessing." And sadly, her daughter didn't make it, but she was so grateful that her daughter had these funds to help her through during a very difficult time. So, I've been helping with Shades of Pink for 12 years, and it's always amazing just how many people I do hear from that have been out in the community and have been assisted.
So the stories we heard on Saturday, some were, just heartbreaking. The husband who lost his wife, she was diagnosed and she died within 10 days. Yes. Then there was the older woman.
Yes, Team Hayes.
Yes,
Pat Hayes.
Is she 83? 83.
Yes.
Just recently diagnosed, and her team raised like $20,000.
$20,000, yes.
So, and she spoke, and Ruth spoke, and it's just amazing to hear the stories and to have the connection and to know how much you guys help. So we had our own team. I was very excited. I had my own Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen t-shirt on.
Yes.
That made me happy, right?
Yes.
But I do have something else for you on behalf of the show, because our community partnership is now officially over, but I did want to give you a donation from our show, just to tell you thank you. We believe in everything you've done. We've heard the stories, we've seen the stories. We connected with so many people on a Saturday, and it was like a big party, which I think is important to mention, right? Because people go to these and they think, if they've lost somebody, you think, I'm going to be sad and I don't want to go, but you get there and there's dancing and music and great food and great coffee, right?
Great coffee.
Yes, great coffee. Yes,
there.
Cappuccino Man was there. So that speaks volumes too, I think, because people may be hesitant to go to an event like that thinking it's going to make them sad.
Right.
But I think everyone that probably left that day, they might have been a little wet, but they were feeling good.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And that is why we do what we do. It's to raise the funds, but then to have this event, to bring everybody together, to share their stories, to offer hope, to celebrate, to remember. And we are just so grateful that Caffeinated Conversations is helping with our cause, and that you got to be part of it,
it was
and
so
that
much
you
fun.
got to see it.
Yes.
And that no matter the forecast, we'll be there. It's already scheduled for next year.
Oh, okay.
Saturday, April 26th at the
right.
Detroit Zoo.
Mark the calendars.
Mark it, and hopefully we can get sunshine for next year.
I know, right? So real quick before I let you go, so that is for you, but also people can still donate.
Yes.
Right? So shameless plug still for my team. I want to climb up there a little bit more, but how long can people donate?
The website will be open, so you can still go to the Shades of Pink, a walk at the zoo at goodworld.com. My R's are a little tricky sometimes.
It's a Monday.
But, yes, you can still go online, look at your team, look for a team, and donate to that team.
Okay.
And we'll probably keep it going until we reset it for next year.
Really?
So we'll have it up for at least another month or two. So.
Okay, perfect. And for anyone who may need help, and maybe they do have that social worker that hasn't mentioned Shades of Pink Foundation, what can they do?
We'll go to the Shades of Pink website, and all the information is there, and we'll answer any questions. There's an email, there's a phone number you can contact. And
you guys are pretty accessible, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
And wonderful. So thank you so much. So thank you. I appreciate it. It has been a pleasure. And
thank you.
You're wearing your pink shoes. I had my pink shoes on Saturday. I think that's how you recognize me, because I love those pink shoes, right?
Yes, my pink suede shoes on Saturday would not have worked, but
no, would not
got
have
them
been
on
good.
today.
No, so thank you so much. It has been our absolute pleasure, and we will see you next year.
Thank you, Brooke.
All right, thank you. And again, that is Catherine Touloukas. She's the co-chair for the Zoo Committee for Shades of Pink Foundation. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. This is a live show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view. I had an incredible opportunity to meet amazing people at the Pure Michigan Governor's Tourism Conference in Kalamazoo just a few weeks ago. One of them was accessibility expert and international speaker Christy Durso. Let's watch.
Life is meant to be lived, and you don't have to walk to live it. You don't have to see to live it or hear. If you can't walk, roll. If you can't hear, observe. If you can't see, listen. Experience life every day.
And I talked with Christy for over 30 minutes that day and learned so much. I've also loved meeting her service dog, Gulliver. Be sure to check out our full interview. You can find that on Apple and Spotify. Well, you know, we all love a clean house, especially when we're not feeling well. But this next guest gives new meaning to cleaning for a reason. Squeaky's Home Cleaning is now serving people with cancer through its partnership with Cleaning for a Reason. David Laurie is the owner of Squeaky's. And David, how did this partnership develop?
Yeah, so we were in contact with them. They kind of explained the program, and I kind of fell in love with it right away. You know, we've all met people who are going through hard times, right? And when you're going through a hard time, it's really tough to keep the home in order, right? So, you know, I loved it. We ran with it right away, and we've been a partner ever since.
So how does this work? I mean, how do people get in touch with you, or do you go in one time or many? How does that work?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch is to go to our website and click the Cleaning for a Reason button, or you can go to cleaningforareason.org. You can apply there, and then they'll, you know, get you all set up. They have partners all over the U.S., so we're our partner for our service area, and we provide 2 cleanings a month apart. So initial cleaning and then another cleaning a month later. And the idea is just that when you're going through treatment, it's supposed to be a big help for that hard time.
Right, and you know, there is something about having like a clean home, right?
Totally.
And especially how it affects your mental health, and just, you know, it's like, oh, I should really mop the floor, but it's not happening today, right? So you guys come in there, and you as the business owner, I mean, this is a big push for the community. What made you do this personally?
Yeah, well, you know, I've had family members with cancer, and I've had medical problems myself, and exactly what you just mentioned, you know, dealing with the home can be really tough in those hard times, right? I will say that the biggest, you know, surprise has been how hard it's been on our staff to do this, right? Because you're talking with people that's a terrible time in their life, right?
Right.
But I'm so proud my staff has like risen to the occasion, and they're, you know, they're very empathetic, and it's been awesome. So.
Okay, so people can do that, and then for people who may just want their house cleaned, you do that as well, right?
As well,
okay, so what's your service area?
So we're in Oakland County. We do the lower southeast portion of Oakland County, so big in the Woodward corridor, so Royal Oak, Clawson, Ferndale.
Berkeley?
Berkeley.
Excellent news. Thank you so much. Asking for a friend, of course. How many years have you been in business?
This will be our 5th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you start right before the pandemic, or?
We did, yeah. So actually, kind of funny, the March of 2020 was our first month where we were actually really profitable. I called my dad. I was like, I'm going to make a bunch of money this year. I'm so excited. And the next month we were closed.
Right. It's like, no, scratch that. Maybe next month. So how is business now?
Good.
Is it?
Really good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would.
I know, right? It's like, okay. Okay, so for people who just wanted to check out your cleaning services, I mean, do you offer weekly, monthly, daily?
Yep, exactly. Yep. So our real bread and butter is recurring cleanings. We do a lot of family homes all over Oakland County.
Okay.
We also do a lot of move-out cleanings for real estate agents, so I do a home listing, things like that, and then a lot of like one-time spring cleaning type things.
What is the most, actually, I'm just going to ask you this. What's the messiest room you ever see?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. Yeah, we've run into some crazy homes in the past, but it's all part of the job.
Right. So you're not going to answer me? No.
I don't think I could.
He's like, well, it just kind of depends. Well, listen, thank you for what you do, the Cleaning for a Reason, and also just cleaning in general, because, I mean, sick or not, busy or not, right? Having a clean home makes all the difference, I think, in your mental health. Okay, give me the website one more time.
SqueakiesCleaning.com.
I love that name, Squeakies. Thank you, David Loria. David is, of course, the owner of Squeakies Home Cleaning. Check them out. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are presented by Time War Vintage. We are a show that brews up topics from a woman's point of view, and we broadcast live every Monday. You can download the free My Michigan TV app or watch us on your phone or any smart TV. You can also watch us live on Facebook and Instagram. Well, coming up, it is called The Disease That Whispers. We'll be joined by the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance and also a survivor sharing her story. But first, I suffered with migraines for a long time and had a hard time finding treatment. I'm not alone. The American Migraine Foundation says 37 million Americans live with migraines, and the World Health Organization actually calls it one of the top 10 most disabling illnesses in the world. Well, I finally found relief at Michigan Institute for Neurological Disorders in Farmington Hills. Let's watch. I am at the Mind Infusion Center with Melanie, and Melanie, you are a nurse here. What's your last name?
Sandiha.
And how long have you been here?
It'll be 2 years this May.
Okay, so you're an infusion nurse, and that's where we are in the infusion center. Tell me what kind of treatment people get when they're here.
So most of our patients have multiple sclerosis, so we are an autoimmune neurological infusion center. So MS or multiple sclerosis is the main one. We do 3 infusions for that. And then there are people with other diseases such as myasthenia gravis or kind of like neuropathies that are affecting their joints and their extremities, things like that. So they come for an infusion called IVIG for that. And then we also have Vyepti for migraines as well.
Okay, so I'm actually a patient here, and I've never been in the infusion center, so I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
But as this is your main place, do you get to know people and?
Yeah. So most people come back monthly. We also have a Alzheimer's medication that we're doing, which is every 2 weeks. So we've been really getting to know those patients. And then we have every 24 weeks. And the IVIG kind of vary based on their dose and their insurance and how often their neurologist wants them to come.
So who is this ideal for, the infusion center?
That's a good question. That will be discussed with your neurologist. There are so many different medications out for some of these diseases, and it doesn't work for everybody. If you can't make it out here every month, or if you have issues, transportation, then the monthly infusion might not be your best option. But there is one, every 24 weeks, which is twice a year, so that might be a better option for you. So best to discuss with your provider and like your lifestyle, and that will help determine what works best. If nothing works, then sometimes you do have to resort to an infusion.
And how long do infusions take? I know it probably varies, but what's the
Right.
maximum or the minimum?
The monthly one infuses over 60 minutes. The 24-week ones, one infuses over about 3 hours, and then the other one infuses initially for a long time, about 4 hours, and then the ones that proceed after that, about 1 to 2 hours. So it really just varies based on your dose and what number infusion you're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have to say, not being a patient of the infusion center, but it's very comfortable in here, and I can see how people, can kind of relax.
get what they need.
Yes.
Right? Get everything taken care of in a very comfortable atmosphere. So I know you're super busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And you can find all the information you need at mindonline.com.
And Mind really has helped me so much. If you are suffering from migraines or any other sort of neurological disorder, give them a call, or you can check them out online at mindonline.com. Well, we go from pink to teal today. It is often dubbed the silent killer, ovarian cancer. But the truth is that there are symptoms that are often misdiagnosed as something else, which then delays treatment. The American Cancer Society estimates over 20,000 women will receive an ovarian cancer diagnosis, and 600 to 700 of those women will be right here in Michigan. Well, MIOCA, the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance, and Diane Glaza-Helbling is the event manager. Diane, your goal is to actually work collaboratively to kind of put an end to ovarian cancer, but also to spread awareness. Can you tell me about MIOCA for people who may not have ever heard of it?
Yeah. Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance has been in existence since 2011. It was started by Pam Dahlman and her mother, Jerry. Jerry got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and they found that there was a lack of resources here in Michigan to support those warriors who are in the fight against this cancer. So they started this nonprofit, and our goal is to raise awareness, with events and outreach opportunities that we participate in, and to support our survivors, connect them with other survivors. We have a support program, throughout the state of Michigan for the survivors to connect and
that's
to
important,
talk.
right?
It is important.
It's important to kind of talk to somebody who knows what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone's, cancer journey is exactly the same, but it's always good to have an opportunity to share your experience with others and to hear from others, to have the hope and to continue on the journey, because it is typically a long one. And then we do, advocacy work to try to raise, dollars to help with more funding for research, because we do need more, treatment outcomes for these wonderful survivors. And also, we hope one day to have an early detection test.
So that has been kind of the problem and the issue with this, because we do hear, if somebody says, I feel bloated, or there's certain symptoms that mimic other things, which delays the diagnosis.
That's correct, yeah, and that's why we really advocate, let people know that, you're the person that knows the most about your body, and we tell them, be persistent, continue to go to your doctors and ask for them to investigate it, because there is no early detection test. There are things that can be done if there's they suspect that you have ovarian cancer, of course, but not in a yearly screening test like a mammogram for breast cancer. So it's important that people pay attention to these signs and symptoms to know that, if they have a persistent bloating, issues with eating. A lot of our survivors will feel very full after like one bite of food. Frequent urination, that's another common one. Pain in the abdomen, pelvis. But not every survivor has the same, symptoms. But being aware of your body, if you have any of those, if they're persistently happening over a month, go to your family doctor and your gynecologist, seek out. And then we also like people to know about their family history. Genetics
That's an important part, right? Genetics now has kind of evolved. Right?
Exactly.
So you can kind of figure that out a little bit.
Exactly. And, a lot of ovarian cancer cases have no genetic component, that there isn't a family history, but ask your, family if there's any history of, breast, colorectal, uterine, cervical, those types of cancers, and be aware of that. And, if it is something in your family history, ask your doctor, am I a potential candidate for genetic testing? Because the more, we say that, knowledge is power, and the more we know about ourselves and our family, we can elevate that awareness of our own risk, individual risk. But one of the other things that MIOCA does.
I love this. I love teal. It's one of my favorite colors. I am not being rude. I am going to look at my phone for a minute because
no problem.
You know why, but I'm going to look at my phone while you get that out, okay?
Yeah, so this is one of our totes. Every time that we receive a contact from a newly diagnosed survivor or a survivor that perhaps has never connected with us and is in a reoccurrence, we send them one of these comfort totes, and this is filled with items, to help them, a blanket as they're going through their journey, and some, teal items like a scarf, pin, magnet, things like that. And then also resources that will help connect them with our support group program that we have that goes on, monthly. And, try to, just get the word out about our organization. We also include gas cards in these so that if people are struggling with finances to get, back and forth to chemo treatments, which often is the case, it helps in a little bit of that way. But, we just want people to know about our organization, so should they or a loved one, family member or friend ever get diagnosed with ovarian cancer, that they know, hey, there's resources here in the state of Michigan to help them.
Right. So I was looking at my phone, not to be rude, but because ovarian cancer has affected my family. I told you that when we originally met. And so 2 aunts actually diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and my Aunt Judy, she watches the show every Monday, and when I told her I was interviewing you, she had said, I am so proud to have participated in this wonderful organization, and I am still so blessed to be a survivor of my stage 3 ovarian cancer. 24-year survivor. Back then it was staged as 3C. They do still stage it that way. My other aunt Linda, she was also a stage 3. She did pass away many years ago, but my Aunt Judy has been battling this for many, many years. She hangs in there, and I just thought it was so, it's always so cool when there's that connection. So when Judy said, oh no, I have people who walk for me, and we do have to talk about the walk.
Yes.
But I have people that walk for me, and I got their care tote, and it meant so much to me. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you. That means all the difference in the world to us, because our survivors are, who we serve, obviously, not just with our events and our programming, that we offer throughout the year, but, on that personal level, so that they know that we're here for them, that there is someone in the state of Michigan that is out here, if they need to connect and to help them.
And the connecting is so important. And you do have something coming up on Mother's Day.
Yes, we do.
5K, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Our Mother's Day Time to Teal event is coming up on Mother's Day, May the 12th. It is in the beautiful city of downtown Ann Arbor, on the streets actually of Ann Arbor, and it's a family affair. We invite everyone to come. Even if you're not a runner, come and join us. There is a 1 mile fun run walk as well. And we just like people to come on out, not only to support the cause with fundraising for the event, but to bring the community together, to see our survivors, to learn about ovarian cancer, and to help us, elevate the message of the teal ribbon, which we're not as well known as the pink ribbon, and that's why we like to educate people. We're very fond of our pink sisters, because they, a lot of people share that family history of breast cancer and ovarian. But
I do have to say that you were actually at the Shades of Pink Foundation walk.
I was.
We
indeed.
ran into each other
we
there.
We did indeed.
So the support there between communities is very strong.
Yes, indeed. And anyone fighting any type of cancer diagnosis obviously is needing support, and that's what our organization and the other organizations are there for. And so come on out and join us.
Okay, so that's Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
How do people register for that?
They can go to our website at mioca.org, which is our website, and just click on events. You'll find the link there to register. We start out at 7 a.m. You can even come the day of and register. We're going to have David Zinn, a local chalk artist, very famous.
Yes.
He's going to be doing a chalk demo. We have ice cream being donated by,
we love ice cream.
Right, Washtenaw Dairy for our fun run participants, give away flowers from Turner's Greenhouse, and all sorts of lovely things planned. We have a raffle going on as well. So it's a really fun morning. It's a great opportunity for us to connect with the community, educate them about ovarian cancer awareness, celebrate those who are fighting the journey still, and honor those that we've lost, we know that that's an opportunity for us to think of them and celebrate.
Still, right?
Yeah, celebrate their lives.
Exactly.
And,
Okay, so that is Mother's Day, and you have an event in August that I thought sounded very fun. It's Teal the Bases.
Oh yes.
And that is happening at Jimmy John's.
That is correct.
So you guys do a lot of events that are family friendly. So a double, serving a double cause, right?
That
it's
is
like
exactly
connecting,
right.
But having fun while doing it.
Exactly, and we try to do the local, sporting events and things here. We just had the Pistons game that we attended, in March. An opportunity again for our survivors to gather together and be together, but also an opportunity for us to get other folks to come out, help support us in our fundraising efforts. This is an opportunity where they can come, enjoy the game.
Right.
Some of the money that goes on the ticket price comes back to Mioca and helps us to support and move our missions forward throughout the year.
Well, on behalf of my family, it's just thank you so much for everything you do. I appreciate it, and I've enjoyed meeting you. We've run into each other now a couple times, so thank you for that. And of course, these are sent out to people who
newly diagnosed and or
right?
if they're in a reoccurrence, we send one of these out. Again with the support items, comfort items, and a little bit of teal in there as well.
just a little bit,
a little bit. We're big about the teal,
but
again, just so that they know that there's resources here in Michigan to help them on their journey.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Diane. And again, your mom is watching, right? Teresa? Teresa's watching, so Teresa, thank you for watching.
Yeah, and hi to your Aunt Judy as well.
Yes, and hi to Aunt Judy. We love you so much. Well, thank you so much, Diane. We will be speaking to Danielle, a woman who knows about the struggles of ovarian cancer all too well. That will be coming up. But first, we would be remiss, of course, if we did not say thank you to our amazing streaming partners who allow us to stream Caffeinated Conversations on their Facebook pages. They are all on that graphic, but also Skinny Teas, they are streaming for us. Artisan Bath and Skincare, Frameable Faces, Catalyst Media, Design Team Plus, Sarah M. Chickerill, PR, and Ellie Mental Health West Bloomfield, and Ellie Mental Health in Novi. Thank you so much. Again, we are reminding you that we are giving away 2 tickets to win an Inspector Calls at the Rosedale Community Players in Southfield. You just need to follow, like, share, or comment with the number 25 for a chance to win. Of course, we will announce the winner with Jason at the end of the show. And those tickets are for this Friday, just so you know that. So if you have plans already on Friday, don't bother commenting. No. Because we want somebody to go to the theater and enjoy it. Well, just a minute ago, of course, we were talking with Diane of the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance, and Danielle, you are a survivor.
I am.
And you have quite the story. You've dedicated your life to raising awareness, but you were diagnosed at the age of 14.
Yes, as a teenager.
How did that happen?
So really it started like many teenagers. I had acne and I was going to go on Accutane, which they make you go to the doctors and get some blood work before you start it because it's a harsher drug, and something just came off. It was odd in my blood work, so my dermatologist ran the blood work again, recognized that something was not right, and sent us to Children's. And really my family and I, they sent us to hematology and oncology, but we did not make the connection that's what they were testing for, but that's where they found it, was there that I had ovarian cancer.
So that was 14. You did end up having surgery, and you did go through chemo.
Yeah, so I actually had surgery at 14. They thought that was the only treatment needed. It hadn't spread. It was a low chance it would come back. And then about 10 months later, and just a routine scan, it had come back in the other ovary. So then I had that ovary removed and did chemotherapy.
So as you look back on this journey, 14, that is so young. And you also said that you didn't realize how dire it could have been, really.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so that's a big part of this, because anyone else gets a phone call and is told that, it's just like instant tears and you have all these horrible thoughts. But at 14, you kind of think you're invincible.
Yes, yeah, I think you do have a little bit of ignorance is bliss on your side when you're young. It's not life or death when you're young. Really I was thinking I just started leasing a new horse and I wouldn't be able to go horseback riding, and I wouldn't have my dog in the hospital. That's what you're really thinking of. You're going to lose your hair. You're going to see your friends. You're going to lose your hair. That's what you're really thinking of when you're young. It was probably at the time scarier for obviously my parents and all of my family, but you don't really realize it when you're that young. You're sick and you don't feel good, but for sure. You have age a little bit on your side.
So how are you feeling now?
Good, yeah, I'm great. Have been pretty healthy since. I have sisters, they get tested annually as well. We all see the same doctor, so that's good. That's good,
right?
Yes,
that's good. So for somebody, you were so young, but for somebody who's newly diagnosed, what's your message to them? Because it's such a tough diagnosis.
Well, I think really it's, use your resources, your family, your friends. Mioka is a great resource to help you figure out what should you do first. I definitely always recommend a second opinion. I think it's really important to feel confident in the plan you are going with your doctors, and your whole medical care team, your nurses. You want to feel comfortable and confident that they are going to get you through. So I definitely would recommend a second opinion. And then I think doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. It's an okay time to be a little bit selfish and focus on yourself and your health.
And I think there's so many people who think, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do it, keep going, when they need to stop and slow down.
Yes.
Because that is going to affect your health.
Yes, yes.
And so you say, just stop.
Yes, just
right?
stop.
Just stop and take care of yourself. And what about asking for help? That's hard for people?
That's hard for people, but there's so many resources out there. Mioka obviously will partner people with resources in their community. We just heard about the cleaning services, so I think there's a lot out there to help you, even in your local neighborhood. People will get the meal trains going for you, and give you less things to worry about, so you can just really focus on your treatment and hopefully your road to recovery.
And looking back on this, are you glad you were 14? I know this is a ridiculous question, but I mean, because you were so young, do you think it was better for you as opposed to, I mean,
I don't know any other way. I guess I would say, I'm glad I was young when it happened. Things happen how they're supposed to, or at least that's what you try to tell yourself.
Right.
So I'm glad that I was at a time in my life where I was able to, I wasn't missing work or having to worry about a mortgage or anything like that. So that was good.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing your
thank
story.
You for having me.
We appreciate you being here. It's so important to use all of the available resources that are out there. And a lot of times, and we have found doing the show, that people either don't know about it or they're too embarrassed to actually ask for help. But the resources are out there, as we've just heard. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, that is Danielle Zucchero, ovarian cancer survivor and also a very strong advocate. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Of course, this is a show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you so much for being with us. We are live every Monday from My Michigan TV studios in Troy, and you can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, also on the free My Michigan TV app. Just download it and watch it on your phone or on any smart TV. Coming up, Stuck in the Shadow of Shakespeare. We'll explain in our Curtains Up segment with the Farmington Players coming up. But it is a tough topic: unexpected illness, maybe an accident at work, or even a crash that can change your life. Lynn Sterlo was part of our walk team at the Shades of Pink Foundation walk this last weekend, and she explained term life insurance because unfortunately, one day you may need to know. Let's watch. Hey, we are here at the Detroit Zoo. We have been participating in the Shades of Pink Foundation walk. It has been a rainy day, but we're still having a lot of fun out in the community. Lynn, you are an insurance agent, and it's so interesting. There's all these young families around here, and term life insurance is something that I'm kind of confused about. It gets kind of overwhelming when you are trying to figure out what you need.
Okay. So there's two types of insurance that we offer. There's whole life and term. Whole life you own, and term life is, think of it as renting insurance. So you're buying it for a portion of time. You can get 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, and so on. So ideally, it's for young families that really need to protect their future. So it's inexpensive. And let's say you're a couple, you have a mortgage, you've got young children. You want to think about their future. If something were to happen to you or your spouse, and you can't afford to stay where you are, if something happens, you need to have something in place. So term life would be able to, you think of, I want to cover my mortgage and things like that. So you would purchase it, and it's relatively inexpensive. And then at the end of that term, you no longer own it. So like I said, renting. So that's why it's cheaper. And then it just ensures that everything's, yes.
What happens to the money you've paid if you haven't needed it?
Well, you've pretty much outlived it.
Okay, but that's
you win by being alive. But so yeah, it's basically just there in case something happens, and you don't own anything, and that's why it's very inexpensive. You're just kind of using it for a time. Yes.
Okay.
And so that way, a lot of people aren't thinking, what if something happens to the other person that is helping financially?
Right.
You need to be able to have something in place and keep that, your family in the lifestyle that you're at. That's what term life is for.
Okay, and so then next week we'll be talking about whole life. Whole life, and that is when you actually own it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
More questions to come, but in the meantime, we're going to get to walking. And you can reach out to Lynn at sterlinsurance.com or by calling 248-880-8782. Before we get to this next segment, Curtains Up, I do want to say real quick, we are getting a lot of comments from people remembering a family member that may have passed from ovarian cancer or breast cancer. I'd like to say thank you to Janice for watching, also Sherry, who is remembering her cousin Maureen. So thank you. Know that we are remembering with you. Of course, I mentioned my Aunt Linda, who had passed away, and my Aunt Judy, who continues to fight. So thank you so much for reaching out, and know that we are with you, and we'll get those resources out at every available chance. Well, local theaters will be wrapping up their season soon, but not quite yet. It is time for our Curtains Up segment, and there is nothing rotten about something rotten happening at the Farmington Barn. Tim Timmer, you are with me. We know each other.
Yes,
we know.
do.
You are the director of the show.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so for somebody who doesn't know what it's about, tell me.
It's basically a mashup between the 16th century Shakespeare with the 21st century Broadway.
Okay, so is it a musical?
It is a musical, and that's basically what happened. Nick and Nigel Bottom, and what's so wonderful about this show is there's so many different pieces and conversation about Shakespeare and all his writings, but so people will hear that know Shakespeare. But Nick and Nigel Bottom are writers in that time, and of course they're fighting with the famous bard of that time period. So they're out to find a big hit. So they find a soothsayer who looks into the future and tells them that the acting in the Broadway, the 21st century, basically has acting, singing, and dancing. Oh. So they're out to make the world's first musical.
How's that going?
Something rotten. It's great because it's a lot of mix-up. He doesn't get everything just right.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little mashup between all the musicals. A lot of people are going to have fun. The audience, all the different references of the musicals of the 21st.
And you guys
Broadway.
opened this past weekend.
We opened sold out. It was
crazy.
wonderful. The audience, they were giving them standing ovations.
Oh, that is so cool.
I got 27 people on cast in the cast, and they're on stage. And these men and women have been rehearsing for almost 14 weeks.
Okay, that's a long time.
A lot of dancing, and they're wonderful.
That is awesome. So if you were sold out this opening weekend, how are ticket sales now?
They're going well. So you got to get in there and you got to buy. We're at 70%, maybe 80%. So we have a sold out for Sunday. Okay. But things are
picking up.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is this the last show for the season?
It is the last show for the season. Okay. So we opened up. Our opening was the day that people can buy season tickets for next season, which we have 4 shows for
Have you
next
announced
season.
that season yet?
We have.
Tell me, please.
So the first one is Best Laid Plans. It's kind of a mystery drama. The second one is a Christmas. It's basically a takeoff of the old Scrooge, but it's a female version.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That sounds fun.
And the next one is Exit Laughing. Again, 3 friends get together and they talk about their fourth. They have a card group, a 4-player bridge group, and one of them passed away, and so they try and go get the cremation remains to have them. So it's called Exit Laughing. Okay. And then of course our musical next year is going to be Sister Act.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so Sister Act will end the season next year.
Yes.
Okay, well see, that's a fabulous lineup. I did ask about your One Act Festival because I love that, but next year
we do that every 2 years, and this year we're doing some reconstruction of our building and putting in some new air conditioning and different things like that, so we're kind of closed for the summer, but next year we'll be doing the One Acts again.
All right, well that's very exciting. You know that, I love that. So with the website, people can walk in and buy tickets, but maybe you want to buy them online.
Absolutely, FarmingtonPlayers.org. And buy these tickets. There's 3 weekends left. Again, Sunday's sold out this coming Sunday. Okay. And we run for the next 3 weekends, so come get your tickets.
All right, and I should say that you are actually our giveaway. We have tickets next week.
For next Monday.
So next Monday we'll be giving away those tickets to see Something Rotten. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Tim. Always a pleasure to see you. Haven't seen you in a while, but hey, man.
It's great to see you.
And I don't sing or dance, but I'm coming out to audition next year.
Good deal.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. And that is Tim Timmer, the director of Something Rotten, happening at the Farmington Barn Players. Again, you want to get those tickets. It is selling out fast. Well, it is time for our coffee of the day. Philip Jewell is the co-owner of Blue Hat Coffee Gallery in downtown Farmington. He actually is traveling. He could not be here today, but he did make sure that we have plenty of coffee and, of course, those lovely scones and blueberry muffins, also biscotti. It's one of my favorite things that they have there. They make everything from scratch, including the bread for their sandwiches, also the syrups for that triple almond milk latte you love. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually what I love. Blue Hat Coffee Gallery open every day, 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 5:30 p.m. They have a beautiful patio. Go in and say hi to Philip and his team. Well, we have been to coffee shops all over, but we are also all over social media. You can check us out anytime on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. This is our 25th show. Thank you so much for being with us. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify. Well, before we say goodbye for the day, I want to give a thank you to all of the amazing people working behind the scenes to bring you Caffeinated Conversations each and every week. Of course, my executive producer, Christina McDaniel, Dave Scott, who owns My Michigan TV. Jared, he is in the control room, and Luke has been out on the floor helping mic up all of our guests, and Jeff, of course, running my teleprompter. Thank you, Jeff. And of course, Jason Dean, who helps us with our social media. In fact, he is with me now. Jason, who has won?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations on 25 shows.
Thank you.
That is so awesome.
Thank you. Yes, it's amazing.
Yes, that is so great.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Our winner is Heather Marie this year.
Heather Marie.
Heather Marie.
All right, awesome.
And I'm excited, and I will be reaching out to you.
Okay, very cool. So she won the tickets.
She won the tickets.
When Inspector Calls, that is happening at Rosedale.
Awesome.
So that is very cool.
Cool.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
and congratulations, Heather. I'm probably thinking I will be delivering this package to you in person. I think she does my hair. I think that's the Heather.
Oh, does she? Oh.
I think so. And I do
Maybe
need an
she'll
appointment,
take
so
you.
maybe that will get me in. Thank you again so much for being with us this morning. May is going to be extremely busy for us. You can always be part of our studio audience. Just send me an email at caffeinatedconversationswithbrookeallen.com. And of course, you can always watch live on Instagram and Facebook, or catch up on all the past shows, all 25 of them. You can find those on YouTube. Well, next week we will be talking about Mother's Day, and we do realize that it can be a tough day for many reasons for many people. We will have Sue Taylor here from LE Health West Bloomfield to talk about the joy and maybe even the tears that the day brings. You can join us next Monday at 10 Eastern Time. In the meantime, keep the coffee hot or ice, since those temperatures are finally warming up. Have a fantastic week. Thank you.